Here are 5 books that I've read more than once that I wanted to share with you today. These books have had some of the biggest impacts on my life, how I think, on my business, how we've been able to stay in business for over 11 years, even during the middle of a pandemic, how I've been able to become strong spiritually. And ultimately, all these do is help me to become a better man, a better husband, a better father. They help me to stay consistent with my strength training. They help me with many things. And so I wanted to share those with you today. What I'm sharing with you are not like the best books. People may ask, what are the best books that you've ever read? I can't pinpoint the one best book. There are many books. Books come from many different perspectives. Many different books offer value in different ways. But what I'll share with you, books that I have read and how I've kind of put them into action. Like I'm only gonna share books with you I've read and taken what I've read and put into action. One of the first business books that I ever read to move my business forward, it was around 2015. I've never been a big reader. I've never even been a big listener. And I listened to podcasts and I would listen to audiobooks as I tried to become a better reader. It was never my thing. And I choose to read books, like get the physical book, not audio. Here's why. Reading is an active process. You have to pay attention. You've got to be present. Listening is a passive process, and the difference is huge. I like the physical book because I can write notes in it. When I revisit and when I reread the book, I'm able to kind of get back into the thought that I had or why I highlighted that section. That's why I like books better. One of the first business books that I read was from Russell Brunson, called .com Secrets. He wrote this in 2015. I bought it in 2015. I dove deep into all his ClickFunnels stuff in 2015. And it's how I launched my business online in 2015. It's how I started building my YouTube channel. It's how I started building the Strongest Tech blog. All of the products and everything, a lot of it's all based around Russell's teachings. So big shout out to Russell for .com Secrets. Highly recommend you check that out. The pandemic has brought lots of opportunities. A lot of them are going online. So if you're gonna be starting an online business, highly recommend you look into Russell's stuff. And I have all of his other books and I'll talk more about those later. One of the first books I ever read, and to be quite honest, I never finished it the first time. And this became a bad habit of mine. When I would read books, I would read until I got enough value from the book and then I would move on to another book. So there were a lot of books in my house that were not read all the way. And this was one of the first ones, Think and Grow Rich. Very popular book. I think it's been quipped as like the number one self-development book of all time. I think it's all about your thoughts. Your thoughts lead to your results. And so Think and Grow Rich really helped me change the way that I thought and then I literally used the principles in this book. It's how I was able to medal at particular jiu-jitsu competitions. And like high caliber jiu-jitsu competitions. It's how I was able to launch my gym. And I had a very particular vision of how I knew I wanted that to run. And all of that has come to pass. This one, I was in a difficult time in my life. Business-wise, had a lot of things going on, right? First world problems. A lot of decisions I needed to make, wasn't sure which way I wanted to go. And this book just really helped me get my mind right again. And this one's called Think Like a Warrior by Darren Donnelly. I have all his books, all 6. I've read all of them. I've read all of them more than once. And I've actually put into action everything he talks about. Again, like I like to keep, I note, highlight, and I even put little sticky notes all over the books. And that's what I love about like the physical book is you can do that, right? It really helped me get clarity on what to do. Think Like a Warrior. Next one is, I've always been a less is more kind of guy. Tried to do little things every day to move me forward. My mindset has always been, what can I do today that's gonna move me forward? I believe Tim Ferriss talks about what's the one domino that you can knock over that will have the greatest impact in your life. And I actually just recently read this. This was on my reading list for a while. I've heard several people talk about this and I finally read it and man, it was exceptional. I took so many notes in this book and I'm gonna be taking a lot of what I've learned in this to revamp Heartstyle Fitness Academy and even Better Man Blueprint. It's called The Slight Edge. So the slight edge is essentially doing the small things, gaining a slight edge, doing the small things every single day And when you do those small things every single day, multiplied by time, amplified by time, the results are unbelievable, right? You can work out hard for a month, an hour a day for a month, doesn't do anything. It's not gonna change your life in a day, in a week. But if you work out for 15 minutes a day, every day, you won't recognize yourself in 3 months, 4 months, right? I mean, just the principles in this book, I've already been putting these things into action in my business and how I live my life. And the last one for today is one of my most prized possessions. I think one of the things that I've got the most notes on, one of the books that I've got the most notes on so far is called A Manual for Men from Bishop Thomas Olmsted. He's the Bishop of Phoenix, Arizona, I believe. And it's essentially how to be a better man, essentially. I think I have the most notes. This one here is on what does it mean to be a Catholic man. It just takes you through every single aspect, and it's really hit home with me. And I have not finished this yet. I'm only 70 pages in. I haven't read it all. It's just so rich, like I don't want it to end. And so I don't sit down and read this like a regular book. I will sit down and I will read 2 pages, take notes on it, meditate on it, and I don't want it to end. It's so good. It has had such a huge impact on my life and all my different roles as a man of this house, being the protector, the provider, the spiritual leader, etc., what it all means. And ultimately, my wife and my children, my community will be able to reap the benefits from that. So, Manual for Men, I recommend those. Those are the ones that I've read the most. Those are the ones that I've taken notes on, so far, and have been putting those in action. I've got many, you can see here. And actually, those books are the ones that are gonna be read first. I kid you not. I have my entire room, in the back room, I've got an entire bookshelf filled, and I have books going up the walls of books that are on my reading list. But these are the ones that are actively about to be read. And so as I read them, I take them off, I go get the other books, and I put them on here, and I just line them up on the books that I know that I'm gonna wanna read. I don't read them in order. I'll just grab one of what I feel inspired to read, and I'll grab one. But these are the active ones that are have been read. And sometimes if they're really, really good, like the ones that I just showed you today, if they're really good, I leave them on the shelf so I can re-reference them when I need them. So those are 5 books that I recommend for you to be better.